you have any query, then you can raise your query at the end of the seminar.
No, in between also.
Okay? So I welcome Mauling sir and I hand over session to Mauling sir.
Physical friends? Good call. Thank you, Professor, for short and nice introduction. Okay, about planning of this lecture, when I received a call from the lecturer, my first query was that who is the audience? Right? And he said that it is third year students of EC. So anyone other than EC students? No. Okay. The second query was that have you ever undergone with any topic on soft computing? The primary answer that I could receive from your semester that you are not aware. So is there anyone who has earlier worked with soft computing techniques ever? So that I can just frame my talk accordingly. So I understand that you are all fresh to the soft computing as a topic. So now then it's a homogeneous crowd, so it gives me some luxury to talk about some basics. So plan would be around, I shall deliver talk for 55 minutes, 1 hour, and majorly it will be focused around what is soft computing, how we can start with the theories of soft computing, and how we can conceptualize some projects which are based on the soft computing. And that may, I shall restrict it to the neural networks and fuzzy systems. Okay? So we shall have an introduction of fuzzy systems, neural networks, and some examples that I have worked with my PhD students in recent years about the neural fuzzy system. Right? Okay. Without wasting any time, let us, because you are supposed to learn one subject in the next semester, that is introduction to machine learning. So let us frame the boundaries. So if there are two words which are coined, one is AI and the second one is machine learning. Correct? So AI is the broader concept of machines being able to carry out tasks so that we can consider them as a smart. Correct? So, and in general AI you can consider as a big brother, and ML is the subset of the entire domain called AI. So machine learning is the application of AI in which, in a way or another, that we explicitly talk about the learning by a machine. So in many applications you can conceptualize machines in AI in which that explicit learning is not there. So whenever we talk about the learning by machine, we are specifically topic is machine learning, not AI in learning. Now, another query that one may have to think about, that what is intelligent system? There are many systems in and around us. So what are the systems that we can consider as an intelligent system? Correct? So the first one, that is system should be able to have a reasoning. What do you mean by reasoning? Say, I think that we can make it more interactive and live. So I may require your answers as well. So what do you mean by reasoning? What do you mean by reasoning? So any vague answer should work. So don't worry. I am not going to deliver any hi-fi lecture in which that most of the contents will go over the head. ऐसा नहीं है. Correct? So feel free. So whatever we do, in general, we should be able to have a subsequent argument or reasons for it. So that if the machine possesses, whatever the machine has done, is able to explain you that what are the reasons or what are the arguments behind taking that decision, then we can say that machine is able to reason. So that is one of the fundamental concepts of that. The second one is that learning. At any given stage, machine should be able to learn, and that is how that exactly analogous to the human life. So people say that I learnt computers at the age of 70. Very nice. Correct? So similarly, if any machine that has got a tendency to learn at any age is falling into intelligent system. Otherwise, many people say around 40 age that enough is enough. I have learnt a lot. Now I do not want to learn anything. Then the fellow is not an intelligent. Are you getting? So intelligent system by inherent characteristic is always ready or eager to learn the new things. Correct? Then adaptivity. Adaptivity means it is more or less to the learning, but what is adaptivity? Yes. Any of you? So if you see that you are doing some task, and if you see that someone else is doing the similar task better than you, so for the betterment, you learn that you adapt. There are two words, adopt and adapt. So this is regarding adaptivity, not directly copying, but copy in a way that it increases your productivity, your effectiveness to do the same task in future. So these are the three characteristics that intelligent machine should possess. I am not going, though it is mentioned, I shall give these slides to you, so you may decide, no issues. Correct? Some of the applications in business, because before we go into depth of intelligent systems, what are it constitutes of, we should have some solid reasons that why we need to learn this at all. Correct? So, in general, they are with some tools that are aimed for the increased productivity, because business is not for a social service. Business is to generate a profit, and to generate a profit, you should increase productivity. Correct? So, very first and fundamental thing is that any intelligent system that increases the productivity of a given business, then it's fair. The second one, that is a gain competitive advantage. Because say, maybe that we may start some business, but very soon there will be competitors. So in a competitor market, in order to gain an advantage compared to others, you should adapt. Correct? And any system that inherently gives you this advantage, that means you are intelligent. So that is the second category. Some of the examples that are available, that is for the customer service, that is a customer relations modeling, CRM. Correct? Then scheduling for the mine operations. Correct? Then some financial market predictions. You can be the king of share markets if you are able to use this effectively. Quality control. So in operations management, day in, day out, managers are dealing with this sort of actions. Correct? Now let us start with the soft computing. So these are the main constituents of the soft computing. You may hear about yes. Do we have that pointer? Because it does not work here. So now just there. Fuzzy systems, neural network, genetic algorithms, and many more. There are many constituents of the soft computing, but three major are this. Okay? And if we just want to point them in a line, first fuzzy systems, then for the knowledge representation, it is there with the if then else rules. If this happens, this will happen. If this and this happens, this will happen. If this or this happens, this will happen. So everything, if it is mimicked by the if then else rules, we are talking exactly about the fuzzy systems. Very soon we shall see the details of it. Neural network. So neural networks are the artificial machines that mimic the human nervous system. Right? So like a human nervous system works, this system also works. Genetic algorithms. This is again the name derived from the genetics. So you know the law of Darwin, law of XYZ. So they generation by generation how the characteristic of the systems do get changed, that is being unique in the gene. So these are the three major constituents of a soft computing. What are they? Fuzzy systems, neural network and genetic. Thanks to this person that is named as Lofty Chadle. So that soft computing was coined first by the fellow, and is defined as that it is an emerging approach. I am talking about early 60s when this word was first coined. So what was an argument? That emerging approach for the computing, because computers formally started in 70s, this concept came in 60s, which parallels the remarkable ability of the human mind to reason and learn in an environment of uncertainty and imprecision. So two words which look very awkward to the definition. What are the words that we are talking about? One is uncertainty and the second one is imprecision. Remember that. We will come back to those two words. Correct? Now this is the in general paradigm of soft computing. The soft computing is evolutionary computing that came into 60s, neural network which Makhlouf's model came into early mid 40s, and then Lofty-Chadle gave the definition of fuzzy systems in 65. Plus this itself is been divided into this many parts that talks about genetic programming, evolutionary strategies, evolutionary programming, genetic algorithms. So the area is vastly expanding and expanding. Even in last 5-7 years, if you have heard about that, around 2005, only once that even I completed my masters and started with the doctorate, that people come up with an idea that deep neural networks. Now in deep neural networks also people are talking about GANs, generative adversarial networks, and many more. Correct? So this is ever expanding field. So these are just few glimpses of where the things were earlier defined. Now let us come back to the soft computing. Again, these three words. I will start with the approximation, then the uncertainty. So normally when you report your answer, approximate answer, do you get full marks? No. Correct? You get cut in marks. When you say that you are uncertain about something, then sir will say that no, this will not work. You either give your answer as a yes or no. The third one, that is imprecision. That we do not give the precise answers. Correct? So in all these three things, normally we get penalty than a reward. Incidentally, entire concept of soft computing is based on this. And I shall give you some examples. See these two figures, one to the left and one to the right, and tell me that which one is a better situation. Precision and the significance in the real world. Yes, someone gave the answer, first one is better. Who gave? No. It is about the precision and significance. Yes, friends, give your opinion. It depends on the situation. Okay. So two situations are given. This is talking about the precision and this is given on the significance. So what is the difference between precision and significant situations? Yes, friends, this side. So this is perhaps the most important takeout from this lecture. You need to and you have to learn about these two things, precision and the significance. As our friend correctly said, that depends on the situation. But then let us talk about the situation which is given on hand. What is given? What is given in figure? That there is a person, a friend is there, and there is another friend. And maybe that someone is sitting just below the fan, and fan is falling. What will you recommend? This mass which is approaching with your head at this meter per second speed, tab tak to daba. The second situation is just look out. So you may warn your friend. So you are crossing the road and suddenly something happens and you just warn him or her. Look out. And the rest thing will be taken care by him or her. So that means that obviously there is a demand of a precision, but in routine life, rather than the precision, we give more to significance than the precision. Another example, when you walk through the corridor, even the small corridor, do you always strike here and there? No. Do you measure the actual distance from the wall, that I have to keep minimum 60 centimeter or 50 centimeter or 30 centimeter distance from the wall and then carefully I have to walk? No. So we don't deal with precision at all. Entire human life, you start from day one to day end. We are full of imprecisions. We work always with in the presence of imprecisions. Correct? So, in that case, these things are, I don't say that precisions are not needed. Precisions are not needed, I don't say. Because when you talk about a diamond cutting, if there is no precision, you know that what will happen. Correct? 1 gram इधर का इधर हो गया तो so that is a different ball game. Correct? If a pilot misses to land by whisper, then it may encourage prejudice. But those are some exceptional cases. In day-to-day life, to take the routine decisions, we give more stress on significance than the precision. Right? So, soft computing plays the role when we are talking about the imprecise situations. Correct? Even though the examples are not given, the second thing that I uttered was approximate. So when we say that pi, what is the value of pi? You will say 22 by 7 or 3.14. It goes up to 41 digits. Do we care about those? No. We approximate it and say that okay, ये answer लाने के लिए 3.14 is sufficient. So our life is also, all the examples that we do occur in our life are with some sort of approximation. And if that approximation works for us, it will do. Suppose that if I ask each one of you that at what time did you enter this room, you will say 11:5. You don't go with that 11.1.29.333 seconds. No. We approximately say and then that is acceptable. Correct? The third thing, that is the certainty. Third thing is about the certainty. There are lot of examples or decisions that we regularly take in absence of certainty. Just like that, say, suppose that today is Tuesday. Yeah. Suppose that on 30th new movie is coming, Bola. Friday it is, Thursday it is coming. Yeah. So, suppose that a group of students decide to go for a movie, first day, first show. Then maybe that some student may have some argument, no, I may have to go with some family function or a social function, or I may have to attend this birthday party, or maybe with my parents I have to go something. So there is uncertainty. So I may join, I may not join. Sometimes our decisions are based on that. Say who else is coming? ये आ रहा है, good. ये आ रही है, अच्छा है. ये आ रहा है, I will not come. So drastically, for 3 first names, our argument was yes, I am coming. But as soon as we hear the 4th name, नहीं ये आएगा तो मैं नहीं आऊँगी. And so and so. Correct? So that is how things move. This is another example. See that few persons' heights are there, and what is the yardstick? The person having a 6 foot height is a tall fellow. Correct? Then with the bivalent logic, that is this one, this is a short fellow, this is a tall fellow. Correct? Here, what is the difference? Say for example, this person's height is 4'11" and this person's height is 5'11". And what is our yardstick in bivalent logic? 6 feet is a yardstick to become a tall. So with the bivalent logic, this is short fellow. This is unfortunately also short fellow. What is the difference in height? 1 feet. 4'11" and 5'11". With the bivalent logic, both are short fellows. ये कुछ अच्छी बात नहीं है. So there has to be some better answer. Obviously, we may put that this fellow, that mostly this is a short fellow. This is short, but marginally short, not so tall. So that is a better answer than a short fellow. Correct? 5'11" is very near to 6. And still that is categorized as a short fellow. So the better answer would be that person is not a tall fellow, but almost up to the mark. That we can say. Suppose that 2 students get failed in examination. Examination paper is of 70 marks, GTE, correct? Someone scores 0 and someone scores 20. Do you put both in the same category? क्योंकि उसने पहले वाले ने तो शायद क्वेश्चन पेपर ऐसे ही ब्लैंक छोड़ दिया. Second fellow tried and tried, fought till the last, but still got 2-3 marks less. I think that 23 or 24 is a yardstick, correct? लेकिन दोनों सेम लेवल पे नहीं है. ठीक है? थोड़ा यदि एग्जामिनर मेहनत करेगा तो वो एक फेलो पास हो जाएगा. Another example. See, once these examples are over, I think that concept should be cemented in the order. Can we evaluate this? This is safe. Someone is not able to read that it is all about the wickedness in a human. Wickedness. One answer is with the bivalent logic, and this is with the multivalent. Can someone evaluate and share? Friends? Wickedness in a human being. Can someone first explain this? What it says? 2 days are considered as a weekend. Saturday and Sunday. Can you narrate about this? What it says? What it says? Our day gets changed at 12 midnight. Correct? So, on Friday midnight at 12, you will feel eureka. My wickedness has started. You will enjoy Saturday, you will enjoy Sunday, and on Sunday night. That is what this logic says. Correct? What about this logic? This is very interesting. Can someone explain this? Can someone explain this? Friends, I expect some answer from you. ये थर्सडे 0 था, फ्राइडे भी 0 था, यहाँ पे ये देखो. थर्सडे को थोड़ा प्लानिंग चालू करते हैं. वीकेंड में क्या करना है? करेक्ट? फ्राइडे को दोपहर के बाद करेक्ट. Important is this. मंडे को फिर से आना है. So some submission, some lectures. So Saturdays are full of it. So obviously you will now understand that this is a better way of characterizing our daily routine than this one. Agree? How many of you are agreeing that? What about the rest, friends? You do not want to answer or not understood? Majority yes, I am positive person. So we'll take it. Knowledge in real world can be. These words are coming again and again. We are adding words. Inaccurate. चलेगा. Unclear. ये भी चलेगा. Imprecise, indecisive, probabilistic, approximate. ये सारे वर्ड से जो बनता है वो सॉफ्टवेयर. Correct? And it works remarkably well. Tall, young, good, bad, height, not clear-cut boundaries are the inherent constituents of the fuzzy systems. Okay? So, human thinking and reasoning include fuzziness inherent. As I told you, we never measure the distance from the walk, and still we are able to walk successfully in all roads, all countries, everywhere. Correct? So, why not to adapt the same thing while we do the program? So, we accept vagueness and imprecision. Now, let us talk a little about formally that what this talks about. So, more or less in JEE you talked about the sets and the range in the functions, correct? So, this is again a function which is called as a membership function. So, how a particular value is belong to some fuzzy membership. So, that is known as a fuzzy membership. Correct? So, A is taking the value x, which is coming from the 0 and 1. So, normally we normalize all the values. What is a typical way of normalization? Suppose that we have got a few readings, 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100. And if you want to normalize it, what is the best way? You divide it by the maximum number. Normalization, friend, that value goes between 0 and 1. So, when you divide the max by the value itself, it will be 1. And the rest, everything between 0 and 1. Correct? So, x takes the value from 0 to 1 and the membership value, that is mu of kx, that is also between the same set. Correct? So, this will make the things clear. This is a typical membership function for age of a person. Correct? So, can someone interpret this? So, these are the different type of memberships. So, this is the young person, this is the defining for the middle-aged person, and this is the definition for the old person. Can someone explain this, friends? So what it says, it does not define any clear boundaries again. तो 25 से कम है तो आप यंग हैं, यहाँ पे ऐसा है. If some person is, this is 0 and this is 25. So if some person is between 0 to 25, you can see that with the membership value equal to 1 is being categorized as a young fan. But what about someone who is around 32? So what it says, what this figure says, that suppose that we take that exact middle value. What is the middle value of 25, 40? 32 and a half. So around 32, what we infer using this thing, that person is half young and half middle age. That is 50% young and 50% middle age. What about this 40? What about the 40? If someone is 40, person is with the value 1 is a middle aged person. Person is neither young nor old, because these all are the individual membership groups. If person is here 48, 49, then old hair. Correct? So this is how the things work in fuzzy systems. Correct? We shall later see the examples where we had applied this fuzzy system. ये समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
This single figure is sufficient enough to explain the membership values being assigned to the fuzzy system. Correct? And using this only or similar sort of things only, fuzzy systems, fuzzy inference systems can be built. We don't have enough time because it is the entire series of lectures. Okay? But fuzzy क्या है वो समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us now go to the second fellow, that is neural networks. Okay? So as it is reported that neural network conceptualization started from the human nervous system, which is massively parallel network computing faster than the fastest computer today. Did it again. It's a very interesting one. It is massively parallel network and computing faster than the fastest computer today. And the example is given. Person recognition. Suppose that you give all the persons that you have met in the life to the computer, as on date also. All the persons that you have met or worked or played with to the computer. And the second is competitor is that human himself or herself. So you are just passing by maybe the gate or some mall, and all of a sudden you find someone and then stop and stare at him or her. ऐसा हुआ है? सबके साथ होता है, ठीक है? And then all of a sudden you just jump with an enthusiasm. Oh, you are XYZ, my friend. We studied together in playgroup. We studied together in 3rd standard, maybe 4th standard. If you pose similar problem to the computer today for anyone's life, it will take maybe days to answer. Now the question is, this is not the question, this is the reality. The question is, if we talk about the speed of a neural system, speed of the human nervous system, it is working with a few hertz of frequency. Correct? Correct? If you talk about your computers, your laptops and your machines, what is the typical speed? It is coming. It is in gigahertz. So where is the match? Few hertz to the gigahertz, and still the answer that is able to be given by the nervous system is in maybe some seconds, while the latest computer in the world will take sometimes hours to days to answer. What is the reason? The reason lies with this. That is massively parallel network. it has been said that any human nervous system is having around 30 millions of neurons. So neurons typically look like this. If I have W. So this is a typical neuron. That is a nucleus. Then there are axons. Then there are dendrites. So similar sort of things are there in ANN also. Correct? So the entire power comes from this massively parallel mechanism. I utter again. Study says that there are around 30 million neurons in a human and around 60 trillion interconnections. Again, 60 trillion interconnections. 30 million neurons and 60 trillion interconnections. And that they work in parallel, in tandem. This meticulous speed of recognition. Correct? And what is the agenda for the artificial neural network? Using artificial neural network mechanism, we want to generate machines that is able to match the remarkable ability of the human brain. Correct? So that is the twist. So general form of the artificial neural network is that using some electronic component or the software, this is made of. Processors are made of the simple processing units. They are able to store the experimental knowledge and that knowledge is made available to use. ANN resembles the human brain in two aspects. One, that is the knowledge acquisition. Just like we meet people, we understand the characteristic of a person and then we remember. Similarly, ANN also remembers the thing that come across as an example. Interneural connection strength known as the synaptic weights are used to store and apply knowledge. It resembles that, say, from your childhood. How many of you are able to write with the same speed, same precision with one hand or both hands? If you are writing, you will be able to write with the right hand. With the same precision, will you be able to write with the left hand? No. Then the question comes that from where this ability came? From where this ability came? When you bat with the right hand, with the same meticulously, you may not be able to bat with the left hand. Correct? From where this thing came? It came from this neurons connection strength and synaptic weights. Correct? So whenever we use something, so that is a part of one sort of learning. That is the reinforcement learning. So that will also come to your studies. Correct? So what the reinforcement learning says that whenever we do some task and we get a reward, that yeah, ये अच्छा हो रहा है. When you started writing first time A or K, then someone might have encouraged you. Yes, very nice, very nice. Do it again, do it again. So that strengthens these muscles. So whenever you pick up a pen, the strength which is applicable, that is there with one hand, but may not be that thing developed with the another hand. Correct? The same way, suppose that you presume a child. Child is crawling. So child did not know earlier how to crawl. And there was no question of falling him or her down. Correct? So when child starts crawling, may intend to jump your beds, may intend to touch some hot things or something that it should not touch. Correct? Then what we say? Then what we say? Don't do it. Don't do it. So after, so maybe on the same day, C may not reply. But after 4 days, whenever such sort of things occur, we'll look at you. What to do it. So that means that child has also learned. Nervous system has learned. So we want to mimic, we want to make such algorithms in a computer so that human expertise can be mimicked. Fair? Some good properties. So first one, that is the non-linearity. Massive non-linearity always helps us to take some better ways. Say for example, suppose that I have to reach to this door, correct? If I start doing straight, because there is a straight line that leads me to that. But whenever I reach here, now I cannot, I may need to jump if I want to continue with the straight line. Else is that I may need to be adaptive. Correct? So that is exactly the thing. So if I had continued with the straight line, it was a linear motion. With the linear motion, maybe I am not able to solve any problem. So if I take some non-linear path, I may be able to. So that concept is said to be that adding the hyperplanes. So more the degree of freedom you add, more the things you will be able to do. Suppose that keeping this straight hand, can I touch here? But if I do it, I can. So there are around 15 to 70 degrees of freedom with the typical human body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Correct? So this, and it adds on adding the degree of freedom to our human body. So more the degree of freedom, more the flexibility we have to accomplish a given task. Correct? Then the second one, that is the input-output mapping. So input-output mapping is something analogous to that. Say, whenever you prepare for your examination, initially you come across some certain examples in which the questions are there, and just in the adjacent or at the end of a chapter, you are supplied with the correct answer. So this is the question, this is an answer. So you start solving the problem. You may not start. You may be able to solve it in the first impression. You may solve it half, but then you see the answer. Then you can understand that these are the points at which I made the mistake. You learn it, and then the next time same problem or similar problem is being encountered, you may be in a position to answer it in better way than earlier. And that is what is the learning. So that is that input-output mapping helps you to learn. Another important thing that is adaptivity. Adaptivity. So that not many times you have done that derivations. What is the meaning of derivative? Differentiation. आपने पढ़ा है ना? What is the meaning of a derivative? Taking a derivative means what? Yes.
Taking some part of the function.
Taking some part of a function. Get rid of maths.
Slope.
What does it mean? What is a slope?
Slope.
What is a slope? Small change in? Exactly. So that is I think near about the answer, so we shall accept it. So it is a rate of change of a function or a variable with respect to the argument. When you say dy by dx, what it means? Unique or incremental change in the x will lead us to the this much incremental change in the another variable y. Correct? And that is the root cause of this adaptivity. all the learning algorithms more or less talk about the same thing. Correct? So if, again coming back to the same example, that two students, one scored 0 out of 17 and one scored 20 out of 70. Both declared fail. For the second case, who scored 20, what we can advise to the fellow, being a friend or being an instructor, थोड़ा मेहनत कर ले, थोड़ा मेहनत और कर ले. आपने कौन कौन से चैप्टर किए थे? ये किया था, अच्छा है. ये किया था, अच्छा है. ये नहीं किया था, ये बहुत इजी चैप्टर है. ये थोड़ा कर ले, एग्जाम में 10 मार्क का आता है. You will be able to score at least 5 or 7. So that may be able to take you cross 23. 0 वाले को अलग कहना पड़ेगा. तो भैया प्रॉब्लम क्या है? आपको इंस्ट्रक्टर नहीं जमता है तो उसका गुस्सा पेपर पे नहीं निकाल रहा है. ये इंस्ट्रक्टर नेक्स्ट टाइम नहीं आएगा, लेकिन तो आंसर तो लिख, बिकॉज इन ऑर्डर टू गेट अ डिग्री यू मे नीड टू क्लियर द एग्जाम. सो द एडवाइस, द लर्निंग adaptivity to both the situations are different, and depending upon whatever the correction is required, we are here. Okay? So most algorithms are based on this. Okay? The next advantage, that is that ability of a fault tolerance. What does it mean? Fault tolerance is again a remarkable ability by the nervous system. So normally computer में now it is a all single port computers, correct? Motherboard गया तो in human nervous systems, suppose कि मानो कि आते आते आपका एक्सीडेंट हुआ और ये हाथ काम नहीं कर रहा, but you can do measure the things with the second hand. So that catastrophic or the ability to tolerate the faults is another ability which is there remarkable in the human nervous system. कभी कभी से it is been said with the evidence that suppose that while walking आपका पाँव मानो कि कोई एकदम गर्म चीज पे चला गया, then the reactions are generated not from here, यहीं से जनरेट हो जाते हैं, and you immediately take off your leg, correct? So उसमें भी distribution है, there is a distributed architecture everywhere in humans. So because of that distributed architecture which is available, human nervous system is able to do this fault tolerance, and that is also one of the desired characteristics of a artificial intelligence. So ये चार चीजें यदि है, then we will be able to make a better system than the other. I am not going into details of this. So these are just the two slides. This is the mimicking that actual nervous system, and this is what artificial neural network is. Again, this is one. This is not the actual picture, but it is being drawn in order to show there is an input, there is some processing, and there is some output for a single unit. This is a layer in ANA. There is an input, there is some processing, and there is an output. So entire quest of generating ANN is to mimic human. Now, in 5 or so minutes, we shall talk about this hybrid systems. Now, many a times that happens that one system alone cannot be able to solve your problems. Just like, say, suppose that आपको neural network आता है, but you don't know about the fuzzy system, correct? But there are situations in which you may require another. Just like, say, while taking some decisions, suppose we want to just make a classification. We want to make a classification कि ये this particular student belongs to electronics, this particular student belongs to some another branch, that is electrical or civil or mechanical in your same institute, correct? That is a one task. And the second one, that is to know about some qualitative parameter about the student, that how periodically the student has learned and how the student has graphed during this lecture. So it may lead you to the some computation of continuous value. So there are two separate tasks. One is the classification and the second one, that is the prediction. Classification requires not in-depth knowledge, and in those cases our later friend, that is a neural network, may be very helpful, because what neural network does, it does point-to-point mapping. Okay, now these are maybe little difficult word at this juncture to understand, but remember these two sentences. Neural network does point-to-point mapping. So that means that we learn only few out of all. Just like you talk about your continuous systems and discrete systems. Neural networks are discrete systems. You just learn about few many points, and then when you put it under the test and the task is of the classification, you will be able to segregate among the different tasks. But if you ask neural network to interpolate an answer, then neural network may not be the best candidate to do so. The reason is, उसने क्या पढ़ा है? गाइड पढ़ा है, अपेक्षित पढ़ा है, टेक्स्ट बुक नहीं पढ़ा है। एंड JEE में बहुत बार वो क्वेश्चन ट्विस्ट करके टेक्स्ट बुक्स में जाए, करेक्ट? सो incidentally, fuzzy system is little costlier. So rather than learning those points, what it does set to set mapping. So entire set is being mapped to the all the points, not few many. All the points from the given set are being mapped to the desired set. Nothing is left. So it is a costlier, but as an output, it will help you to take precise answers. So there is a clear-cut boundary while applying these two major paradigms to the real life. If you want to solve classification problem, then use neural networks. If you are interested for some control-related actions where precision is more required, better to use fuzzy systems than the neural. There are few slides and why it is required and what so on, that I am not going into details, but let us talk about 3-4 examples. 10 minutes. So this is a very simple example. Think of a situation that you want to make a system for your vehicle. Correct? You are driving in a vehicle, and on some dark roads where there are no street lights available, and that barricades are also not available, we are in danger of colliding with the other vehicles. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो शायद यहाँ पे आ जाए, हम अपनी लेन कूद जाए और वहाँ चले जाए, और रात को ये बहुत सा होता है. Whenever there are clear-cut boundaries are not there. Correct? So, why this happens? This may happen. One of the reason is that is due to the headlight of the opposite lane. उसका भी वो डिपर चालू रहता है, हमारा भी डिपर चालू, and that at some angle may disturb our eyes, specifically person with specs like me, correct? And then we make vertical line. So this system is intended for the same one, and there are two inputs. One input, that is that actual difference between the distance between the heads of this vehicle and the opposite vehicle. So there is a distance. Distance is an input. What may be the another input? What may be the another input? Intensity of a light. Intensity of a light. Distance तो वो तो आपका सामने से क्रॉस हो रहा है तो उसको तो आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन आप अपने व्हीकल की इंटेंसिटी को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. यदि आप अपने व्हीकल की इंटेंसिटी को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं तो अपोजिट व्हीकल भी कर पाएगा. सो व्हाई नॉट टू मेक इट ऑटोमेटिक. सो आई थिंक दिस प्रॉब्लम केम टू मी around 2005 when I was solving some problems, and then we had given these solutions. Correct? So two inputs. One is the distance between two vehicles, and the second one, that is the light intensity. So I am talking about this in 2005, where most of the people in India did not know about fuzzy systems. So there was a solution which was tried by the company, but they were not able to solve. I will tell you that what just a click could solve the problem. So what was the thing? That there were two instances, distance and intensity. So distance, that is the low distance is a danger. Low distance, that means your opposite vehicle is very nearer to you. It is with the danger condition that it may strike with you, with your vehicle. But if the opposite vehicle is far away, then it is less likely to have a collision with your vehicle. Correct? So one input in which low is a danger. Another input is what? What is another input? Intensity. Now intensity is also quantized into three values, 1, 2 and 3. What does 3 mean? 3 is high intensity. 3 is high intensity. In distance again, 1 is low distance. Distance में कौन सा more dangerous है? 1 value. In intensity, which is more dangerous? 3. Now the thing is, it is a typical situation like that so-called some कोई भी टेलीविजन का प्रोग्राम है और दो जूरी, एक बोलता है डिस्क्वालीफाई, दूसरा बोलता है क्या अच्छा गाया है. No one is ready to retract. Correct? It may be there with some judicial system. There are 5 juries or 4 juries, say for example. 2 बोलते हैं यस, 2 बोलते हैं नो, 2 बोलते हैं इसको सजा दो, 2 बोलते हैं इसको छोड़ दो. Correct? Then what to do? यदि ऐसा split decision सामने सुनाते हैं, so it will be a mockery of a system, any system that is there. So what these people do? पहले के ज़माने में सिस्टम था ऐसा. वो एक कुछ अक्षय कुमार वाला पिक्चर था, कौन सा था? 60s का वो कैप्टन एंड कर्नल पावरी वाला, वो कौन सा? रुस्तम पावरी. या सो देयर वाज अ ज्यूरी, और वो ज्यूरी में लास्ट तक ऐसा था कि 1 of the 9 juries वर स्टिल नॉट इन अ फेवर. लेकिन लास्ट में क्या वर्डिक्ट आता है? It is a decision of a jury. Maybe split one, but it is a decision of a jury. So similarly, if say what was the problem? Say जिसने प्रॉब्लम दिया था उसको भी फजी सिस्टम आता ही था, but was giving 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3 straight away. अभी क्या हो रहा था? 1, that means the strength of one input. एक input बोल रहा है कि एक है वो डेंजर सिचुएशन, दूसरा बोल रहा था इनपुट एक इंटेंसिटी ऑफ अ लाइट, ये तो अच्छा सिचुएशन है, एक सबसे बुरा, एक सबसे अच्छा, एंड दे वर नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व दिस. आफ्टर केयरफुल इन्वेस्टिगेशन, व्हाट आई सजेस्टेड द फेलो दैट दोनों में से एक को उल्टा कर, या तो डिस्टेंस को उल्टा कर दो या इंटेंसिटी को उल्टा कर. इंटेंसिटी यू कैन रीडिफाइन बिफोर गिविंग इट टू द मशीन, क्योंकि वो तो मशीन है, आप एक में एक देंगे, दूसरे में 3 देंगे तो वो एवरेज ही आंसर देगा। ये 3 देंगे, ये 1 देंगे तो भी वो आंसर ही देगा। बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली इट इज अ मशीन। उसके पास कोई ब्रेन नहीं है। उसके पास कौन सा ब्रेन है? जो हमने एज ए डिजाइनर दिया, जो हमने एज अ डिजाइनर दिया वही ब्रेन है। तो उसको इनपुट देने से पहले क्या करना चाहिए? उसको सिनर्जाइज करना चाहिए। So there are situations in fuzzy system. Then after while reviewing, I also noticed that लोग ऐसे ही पेपर लिख देते हैं, correct? So one need to synergize between the inputs, different inputs, before giving it to the system. यदि इंटेंसिटी है, so इंटेंसिटी को आपको डिस्टेंस से सिनर्जाइज करना है, तो डू इट। इंटेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू मैक्स माइनस इंटेंसिटी, एंड मैक्स आप कोई भी वैल्यू। सो देन जो नया इंटेंसिटी का वैल्यू आएगा, इट विल गेट सिनर्जाइज विद द अनदर इनपुट एंड विल वर्क प्लास्टिक, और उसका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा। सो दिस वाज द another problem that recently I have worked with one of the students who got a degree, that it is about the intelligent car parking system. It is about the intelligent car parking system, and in which we propose the solutions using the neural as well as the fuzzy control system. उसमें होता क्या था? This one. So normally in developed countries, there is supposed to be the concept of a garage park. Now if we copy the same thing in Indian condition, 100 में से कितने लोगों के घर पे गैरेज होता है? 10 भी ज़्यादा भी करेक्ट? So we are not acquainted or we are not blessed with such a surplus space in front of our house. Correct? हम लोग क्या करते हैं? स्ट्रीट पार्किंग करते हैं। जो लोग अपार्टमेंट में रहते हैं, थिंक अबाउट द सिचुएशन, 10 कार की पार्किंग की जगह है और कार एक्चुअल में 15 है, तो 5 लोगों को रोटेशन में कार पार्क करते हैं। व्हेन वी गो ऑन इन फ्रंट ऑफ अ मॉल, वी हैव अ स्ट्रीट पार्किंग, करेक्ट? और वो स्ट्रीट में भी ऐसा नहीं है कि यहीं पे ही लगाया, लेफ्ट साइड पे भी, तुम तो राइट पे भी लगा देते थे लगाने के लिए, करेक्ट? सो दैट the solutions incidentally were not available. So what innovation that we did, we made our solutions which is adaptable to the Indian conditions. Correct? So Indian conditions में पहले तो ये जो vehicle है उसमें लेफ्ट राइट दोनों जगह पे हमने सेंसर लगाया साइड पे, करेक्ट? एंड द एंटायर फजी सिस्टम, वो तो पूरा 1-1.5 घंटा निकल जाएगा। सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू जस्ट गिविंग द इनोवेशन स्पीड डन। तो हमने यहाँ पे फजी में सेंसर्स दोनों साइड पे लगाए। अनदर थिंग दैट इन अ गैरेज पार्किंग सिचुएशन, अप टिल नाउ पीपल वर जस्ट सॉल्विंग अबाउट द वंस यू गिव द पार्क ऑर्डर इन अ गैरेज सॉर्ट ऑफ सिचुएशन, वो कार पार्क होके रहेगी। सो इट इज अ टिपिकल पाथ प्लानिंग प्रॉब्लम। आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू द टेक्निकल, बट वंस यू गिव द ऑर्डर दैट अभी तुमको पार्क होना है, एंड सम स्पेस इट विल फाइंड आउट एंड विल गो एंड पार्क इटसेल्फ, कार इटसेल्फ विल पार्क। ठीक है? हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है? स्ट्रीट में आप पार्क कर रहे हैं, बच्चे खेल रहे हैं, बाय द टाइम यू ऑर्डर एंड दैट व्हीकल गोज, शायद कोई आ गया तो so those things were not thought of by other countries. So we thought, rather than the path planning problem, we make it as an extension of a navigation. Navigation problem itself is a little difficult problem, and we do get nowadays cars which are driving at its own, correct? So लेकिन ये भी इंटीग्रेशन नहीं था। So if we think about as an extension of a navigation problem, dynamicity inherent comes. So just before one last step, if something comes, it will retract and will try to park the other way. So that sort of dynamicity we added in our solution. Videos we have very fast, but I am not running them. So you just think about that. ये कार में मानो कि ये थोड़ी ज़्यादा जगह होती तो यहाँ से चालू करके वो यहाँ पे पार्क कर पाएगा। यहाँ पे इतना ज़्यादा जगह नहीं है तो वो रिवर्स में यहाँ से होके तो यहाँ पे जाके पार्क। एंड देयर आर वीडियोस। Another problem that we have worked in recent part, that is this surveillance. Right? So in surveillance we talked about the efficient target tracking. So we know that there are very long boundaries between India, China, India, Pakistan, and so on. Correct? Now these places are either it is a desert or it is there with all ice. Correct? And normally not so natural for a humans to live in. So we cannot have physical presence of our soldiers all the way. So we thought of why not to put the sensor nodes, sensor networks, and sensor network in which the sensors send something that at their own and meaningful information is being passed to the control station. So if we see that any intruder entering from our west coast, that control room will come to the notice and if required will fire the missile. So that sort of solutions we have worked and few papers we could publish. So it is just like this. Some active zones are there, some nearby regions, some points being actively tracked, other are in the still deep sleep mode. Because say these sensor modes, the correct terminology for the sensor is a mode, and that is the size of a 1 rupee coin, and that itself is a processor. A processor that is the size of a 1 rupee coin, and that has to infer something, process something and disseminate something. And again they are single use sort of sensors. एक बार आपने थ्रो किया वो अपनी लाइफ टाइम तक जिएगा और फिर मर जाएगा, फिर आपको दूसरे सेंसर्स डालने. So energy efficiency is again one of the major concerns. So we tried to solve some of the cases. Medical diagnosis and there are few other cases, but I restrained myself because I have to get engaged with some students PhD exams. So I just ended this. Hope you have enjoyed.
So we are very much thankful to Mauling sir for coming here and delivering such an informative lecture on soft computing. So we are also expecting more lectures from Mauling sir in the future. Thank you sir for coming here.